Alright, fellow dreamers, it is Saturday and we are moving. This is our second load. We're utilizing WEDO trucking, a gentleman named Nestor and his faithful compatriot, and they are doing an excellent job in moving all our stuff. As you can see, we still got a lot of chi-chais plants to put together. We got a lot of the big furniture done. Got some stuff on the side of the house. But it is time to bid adieu to Pink House. 6-7 years of memories in this place. Yeah. Got some stuff left over. And you can tell we haven't moved the furniture and cleaned in a while. Especially in the office. This was the nerve center for Philippine dreams for many years. We gotta come back and do a good cleaning on this. Yeah, we don't have that much furniture left. Should be one more trip and we are done. And then we gotta come back probably tomorrow. We got brownout tomorrow. Give this place a good cleaning. So the new renters, when they move in, we'll be coming into a semi-clean house. All right, next load, ready to go. All right, as we get further into our move, it's actually Friday morning now. We got Jan's Aircon over here getting ready to clean and transfer our Boston Bay, which is a rebranded Medea. They're gonna power wash it and clean it all up. One thing this is another case of do as I say, not as I do. I would recommend cleaning these, I don't know, 6 months a year. I haven't cleaned it in like 14 months. It's filthy. All right, one of the few problems we got here at Orange House is they lost the keys to the stock room. This is about a 10-foot by 10-foot room in the back. So the owners gave us permission to break the lock. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to fall back on my days running with the Merlino gang, the Merlino crew, if you will, in Dorchester. I got a variable speed drill right here. Purchase this in the Philippines. Don't bring your own tools. They actually have like Makita. They got all the name brand stuff here at 220 instead of at 110. And I got a couple HSS drill bits. Back in the day, I'd probably be using a core borer to take that bad boy out, or a chop saw. This is as close to an 1/8 inch as I could get. This is what I'm going to start it with, and then I'm going to go to the 1/4 inch, and hopefully we can just bore right through this and crack the cylinder and get this lock off. And then the owner's going to pay for us to install a new doorknob, which should be pretty easy. I don't know. Just follow YouTube videos. That's a cheap lock. It just punched right through. So that's the 1/8 inch. Now we're going to hit it with a 1/4 inch. So you learn something new on Philippine Dreams every day. If you ever accidentally lock yourself out of a doorknob, just get yourself an HSS drill bit, 1/8 inch, blast through it. If that's not enough, go in with the 1/4 inch, and that'll break the cylinder, and you are good to go. More crime tips on my Philippine Dreams. This is our storeroom. We actually thought this was going to be big. The landlords originally said this was big enough to have a helper stay in, but we can't have Janice stay in here. That just wouldn't be fair. So we're just using it for storage. Hey, good afternoon, fellow dreamers. It's Ned over My Philippine Dreams, and I just wanted to give you an update of what's going on with Orange House. Now, before we begin, I'd like to apologize in advance for the state of our driveway. Our helper has the day off. They actually stayed at Janice's house last night for a sleepover, so it's looking pretty ragged. But I just wanted to go over a few things that we've done since we've moved in. As you can see, we got the Boston Bay DC inverter. This is a 1 horsepower unit. These are down to 16,000 pesos. And it's a DC inverter. It works really well. I'm actually going to check the power meter because I've been following it for the last 7 or 8 days. see how much juice we've been using. As you can see, Chichai has been putting her plants. She's been spending a lot of time. I have become a horticulturalist widower, basically. So that's life. I don't know if you remember from the last video, but there used to be a giant pile right here. It was a pile of dirt, trash, all kinds of stuff. So I cleared that out and I planted some grass, and hopefully that'll grow in. As you can see, the grass is kind of long. I'm actually going to let it grow a little bit longer before I cut it, and I'm going to show you the cutting implement that I got for it recently. One of the first things we did when we moved in here, this is one of the things, if you're a renter, you can do. We changed all the faucets. All the faucets here were the old plastic type, or they were the old cheap metal type. The fittings were all loose, they were leaking, they were cracking. So we went and got some fairly decent ones. I think these were only like $3, and we swapped them all out. And I kept the old ones because if we ever move out, I'm just gonna swap them back. We also want to be able to use hoses, and the old faucets didn't have fittings to put on hoses because Chichai's doing a lot of watering of her plants. So we did that. And as you can see, her plants are all over the place. She did all this right here. She's got stuff going up all over here. It's pretty crazy. Before we head out, because we're going to be talking about temperature, this is going to be another cooling your hothouse in the Philippines. Alright, sorry, I'm an American. So on the exposed concrete, the sun is about 113 degrees Fahrenheit, 114, 115. And the bad thing about this is it tends to transmit into the house. So what we're going to be doing is they have these sunshades that they sell here. They're not waterproof, but they cut out about 97% of ultraviolet radiation to cut down on the heat. So we're going to run one from this corner here over to about here, and we're going to have wires going over the wall to some cinder blocks because that's an abandoned property over there. So this is going to be the parking area for the car. It's going to be completely in the shade because you don't want to keep your car not in the shade, because the Philippine sun destroys plastic and destroys cars at a prodigious rate. We also just switched over to Ning's water supply. I don't know if you remember the video we did. We were paying like 35 or 40 pesos per bottle at this one guy that was local to us, and Ning has it for 25 pesos delivered. So we switched over to her the other day. They're actually friends of ours, and it's also good to support your local businesses. Another thing I did was hang up a clothesline because there was no clothesline. You guys know this is really easy to do. This is just wire, you tie it off there. I drilled a hole, put an eye hook over on the other side so we have somewhere to dry our towels. This is just temporary. We're not sure what we're going to do with this area yet. But there's a nice breeze coming through here, which is really nice. All right, I cannot use the lawnmower because it's an uneven grass. The property is not level, so the lawnmower doesn't really work. So I did a lot of research. I went to a lot of Filipino websites, and I don't know Tagalog, so I had to translate every page. But basically they said this, that the Toyohama KGX35, which is actually very close to the name of the Honda GX35, was the best bet. I think this thing only cost about 120 bucks. It's a 4-stroke. I've used it about 3 or 4 times. It's fantastic. Starts right up, no issues. And there's something about manly men doing manly things with power tools that just really works for me. I'm new to this. In the Philippines, you see the guys dressed up like ninjas. Every inch of their body is covered because, you know, stones and rocks and pieces of grass and gravel and glass and shit are flying all over the place, and they're really good at it. I haven't quite acquired the perfect skill yet, so I've been doing a lot of burns, but I'll get better over time. This is our storeroom. We actually thought this was going to be big. The landlords originally said this was big enough to have a helper stay in, but we can't have Janice staying here. That just wouldn't be fair. So we're just using it for storage. And you can see I have my collection of the old faucets. This one actually has a hookup for a hose, but the valve is loose and it was leaking, so we just swapped it all out. Also, people commented on the black mold. I don't know if it's black mold or just dirt. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Hey, if you consider our work to be of any value, consider supporting us on Patreon. If you're a Patreon, you get a free copy of my ebook, and we do monthly Google Hangouts. So consider doing that, if you would please.